Ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. Good day to everyone, and welcome to our webinar on navigating the path to operational agility with Dynamics 365. My name is Mohammed Reza. I'm the Regional Director at Confiz Solutions UAE. I am thrilled to be joined by my colleagues, Kuram Zaki, Product Strategy Lead, Dynamics 365, Microsoft UAE, and Bilal Yaqub, pre-sales dynamics consultant, Confiz UAE. Our experts today are distinguished experts in the field of digital transformation and operational agility. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Confiz, a global technology services and solutions company that caters to small, medium, and large enterprises. With a considerable number of Fortune 100 customers in retail, CPG, manufacturing, and other verticals, Confiz has proven its expertise in the industry with clients such as Walmart, Macy's, Rogers, Crocs Mondelez, and many more. Confiz retail experts have a strong presence in the Middle East, North America, and Pakistan, and with 16 years of experience. They've become one of the leading technology service providers in the market. The company currently has 600 employees with 185 Dynamics consultants that are highly skilled in delivering exceptional services and solutions to clients. With 240 global customers and 750 projects delivered, Confis has built a reputation for being a reliable partner for business in need of technology solutions. We invite you to join us in exploring the innovative services and solutions that Confis has to offer in this webinar. Let's quickly look at our agenda today. First, let's take a closer look at the key trends that are shaping the grocery retail industry. The COVID 19 pandemic has changed the way consumers shop with a significant shift towards e commerce and digital channels. Additionally, consumers are increasingly looking for more sustainable and healthier options while also expecting convenience and personalized experience. Grocers need to adapt to these trends to stay competitive and meet the evolving needs of their customers. We're also going to look at some unique perspectives in Dynamics 365, especially for the super and hypermarket solutions that we are addressing today in this webinar. Bilal will also speak to you about key capabilities of the solution, and we're also very pleased to walk you through some of our success stories that we have delivered in Dynamics 365 to some of the largest grocers in the UAE and Middle East. And finally, we'll leave some room for the Q&A session, and my colleagues will also post in a survey poll at the end of the webinar, and I humbly request all the attendees to please complete the survey. Now, I will have Kuram to please take it from here. Over to you, Kuram. Good luck.
Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me for this conversation. Pleasure being part of this webinar with Confiz and meeting our customers and potential customers that are present on the call today. What I wanted to kind of start this conversation off with is when we go meet customers, when we go meet potential customers, there's a recurring theme of events in the market that we hear from them that is shaping the retail industry on the whole, and especially the grocery retail business specific to a subvertical of retail. And we can divide these trends or these themes into two distinct categories. Ones that are kind of stemming out of the customer behavior, that is shaping the customer behavior, and that's changing the way the customers shop. And the other is more around how businesses are reacting to those changes. When we see from a customer angle, there is a definite shift in the way people buy today, especially in grocery. Reza was mentioning earlier post-pandemic changes. Post-pandemic, there is a big shift in the way customers buy, and this has been amplified by the recent geopolitical challenges that we see around us, the recent economic and macroeconomic challenges that we see around us. All of this has kind of, evolved the way customers buy. They're focusing more on the value that is created per dollar that they spend. They're focusing more on the customer journey, and their expectations are increasing on how they as a customer will be targeted pre and post purchase decision. So overall, changing the behavior and the pattern in which the customers engage with the retailers. There's also a big shift in the way they're looking at other competitive services that are competing to the grocery business. Things like app-based grocery services, home delivery, etc. All of this is kind of changing the way the customers now want to make their purchase decision and want to make that transaction go through. And they're looking at more and more automation, especially the younger generation of customers are looking at the way to interact with businesses, with retail, without actually being face to face with a person. So all of this is raising the bar on the automation and how businesses adopt that. If you look at the flip side of that, which is on a retail business, there are challenges or opportunities that the retail businesses are also facing and are reacting to. These are, again, like I said, geopolitical and economic challenges, inflation, etc., that is making them essentially do more with less. The businesses need to be lean, they need to be agile, and they need to be reactive to the market. There needs to be an efficient supply chain management capability, which includes things like, near shoring, which includes things like getting the right thing at the right time for the right customers at the right channel to make sure that the customer does not walk away to competition and, to engage customers in more upsell and cross sell. And last but not the least, sustainability is a big, big topic now for retailers. Everybody that you go speak with as a consumer is forcing the businesses to adopt more sustainable ways of execution. When I go to the supermarket, my children do not let me get a polythene bag. They want me to carry a fabric bag. And this is the shift in the customer mindset that's also shifting the way consumers are sorry, the businesses are more and more engaged towards sustainability, be it recyclable packaging, reverse supply chain, or circularity concepts. Now, how do we help our customers with that? As Microsoft, we believe we're in an ideal position to help our customers through our technology stack that spans across multifacets of any organization, be it on the core Azure level, where we have the biggest footprint of data centers worldwide, that help retailers scale their data with security, privacy, compliance, and and identity services, helping to make sure that data for the customers and for the retailers is secure. This is topped up by our dev dev capabilities, which include professional developer capabilities like GitHub, or low code, no code development capabilities like Power Platform. And then we have these personal productivity suite of applications, Teams, Office 365, etc., under Microsoft 365, and business productivity solutions, which are under Dynamics 365. And all of this taught by our industry cloud, including the retail cloud, that helps businesses and industries scale better and be more standardized on business processes. All in all, technology coverage is there from Microsoft perspective to help our customers achieve on those trends that we just talked about. Specific to business applications, there's a whole suite of applications that Microsoft provides under Microsoft Dynamics 365 that help take care of customers' business processes, both from a front-end perspective, which includes, clienteling, point of sale, customer service, and marketing capabilities, and from back office capabilities perspective, financial management, supply chain, and HR. All of these different capabilities work together to help make our customers successful. And this is further extended or enhanced by our Power Platform capabilities that help customers build new kind of versatile solutions on top of the data that they have in their organization, bringing a level of intelligence, insights, and automation into their business all up. How do we help using this stack? How do we help our retail customers, and especially in grocery retail? The answer is unified commerce. How do we unify all of these different processes into one single source of truth that can help any organization be more efficient in their digital selling or omnichannel selling, in their back office processes like fulfillment and supply chain, be more aligned with the customer expectations of the journey of the customer journey, and bring a level of insights, a level of scale, and a level of what we call future proofing to make sure that these emerging trends can be capitalized by any retailer. To talk about that, I'll invite Bilal to take us through the Confiz capabilities that are built around Dynamics 365 and specifically designed to help grocery retail business. Bilal, over to you.
Thank you very much, Puram. Thank you. And very warm greetings to everyone who has joined this webinar. My name is Bilal Yaqub, and I'm working with Confiz Solutions as a senior functional consultant for retail and supply chain, and I also lead the pre-sales in GCC region. So let's just talk about the solution that we have built for the grocery and supermarket retail. But before getting into the solution, I just want to discuss some of the challenges which are faced by this typical industry. Now, we have been working with the hypermarket and supermarket retail for a good part of 2 decades now. And during that period, we realized that supermarket retail is a very specific industry. And as such, it brings some very specific challenges which are typical to this industry. Now, essentially, these challenges originate from two major reasons. One of the reasons is basically the speed of doing business. So when we are talking about a hypermarket, just imagine a supermarket across your street. So if you look into this space, you will see a lot of customers moving across the shelves looking for the items that they need. There are people with items in their hands and looking for the prices. Then there's this point of sale side where there's a rush of customers, people with their trolleys coming in, their cashiers. So it's kind of a crazy place. It's a very busy place. The shelves are constantly being replaced by the stock. So the speed of this business is very fast, and in order to be able to cope up with the speed of business, the retailers need a very robust supply chain system that can actually help them manage the speed of their business. So one of the challenges is the speed of the business, and the second challenge, which is again very specific to this vertical of retail, is a large number of SKUs. So the number of SKUs carried by a hypermarket is significantly higher than the SKUs that are carried maybe by a fashion store or maybe some other vertical in the retail. So these are the two major reasons as to why this industry has very unique challenges in terms of supply chain management, in terms of automating the business processes, and in terms of coming up with the kind of analytics that can help them make learned decisions. Now, if we talk about some of the specific challenges, one of the major challenges is managing the store assortment. Now, when I say store assortment, supermarkets can have different kind of assortment requirements. For example, a superstore which is located in a shopping mall can carry a different kind of an assortment than a supermarket which is just located across the street in a neighborhood, or maybe it's working as a convenience store. So again, stores in different locations having, I would say, different kind of customer footfall, they would carry different kind of assortments. So it's very important for a supermarket supply chain, or someone who's managing these operations, to have the right product in the right store. So you don't want to end up in a position where the customers walk into your store and they don't find the right kind of things, or you have your shelves filled up with stuff which is not very relevant to that particular store. So one of the challenges is having the right items in the right place, which is basically the store assortment. The second major challenge is that the supermarkets are very purchase intensive business. So they're doing a lot of purchasing from the vendors. There's a whole lot of vendors. You're buying different things. And when you do that, there are some very complex agreements that happen with the vendors. And these agreements generally result in back-end incentives. So, for example, you could have an agreement with your vendor that if I do this much volume of business with you in a particular category, I would get this much rebate. And these agreements can be very complex, and they eventually result in some back-end income coming to the business, but making sure that this process is properly controlled, it's digitalized, it's automated, and then you're getting the right kind of an analytics around this process. That's another challenges for most hypermarkets. The third challenge generally comes around the management of third-party stock. So any supermarket carries a lot of items which are there on the shelves, but they are actually from a third-party vendor. So although you are selling them from your point of sale, the customers would just treat them as something brought from your store, but essentially they are stock of a third-party vendor. And you have an kind of arrangement with them where you would pay them a certain commission, and the remaining amount would you will actually keep a certain commission, and the remaining amount would go as a payable. So managing this process in the system is another challenge. Another problem that is very commonly faced by the grocery retail is around the auto replenishment and the procurement. So again, it's a very fast moving business. You have to make sure that your shelves are properly stocked by the right items, so that you don't lose your sales. But on the other hand, you cannot over carry the stock. So if you're carrying too much stock, this means that a lot of your money is basically stuck in form of inventory, and you're not able to manage your liquidity. So there's a very fine line between having more than required stock, or having the stock which is not able to fulfill your orders. So managing the inventory close to this optimal inventory line is another challenge, where the system can really help the businesses to achieve more. Another other challenge that is generally there is management of retail kits. So, for example, there are a lot of items which come as a bundle. So maybe there is two, three kind of different items that actually come as a bundle, but eventually they can also be sold as an individual item. So how do you manage the pricing of the bundle? What happens if the customer opens the bundle and buys only one item? So all these scenarios are also kind of challenge which is specific to this industry. And then any retail store is a place where there's a lot of cash coming in and going out. So you have 10, 12 point of sales where the customers are walking, people are paying through credit cards, people are paying through cash. So it's a place where a lot of cash is transacting. So making sure that there are strong processes in place, systemized processes in place to make sure that the cash is handled in a I would say secure way. That is another challenge which is generally faced by the businesses in this industry. So these are some of the challenges which are generally faced by the businesses. So as I said, we have been working with the businesses for a good part of 2 decades. So what we did over the time was that we developed a solution that was basically tailored around these challenges. So our solution targeted these specific areas, and we developed our solution, which is basically native to Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations. And as Forum mentioned before, it's a very robust platform. So all the natural capabilities of Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations blended with the tailored solution that we have built on top of that, it brings a lot of value on the table from the customer perspective. Moving forward with this, again, as I said, our solution is basically targeted towards the supermarket retail based on the experience that we have gained over the last couple of decades, working with a lot of customers from different countries, from different regions, different scales of businesses. So this solution is basically targeted towards a very specific industry. And one more thing that I would like to add here, Zara, could you please move to the next slide, please? Yeah. So what value it brings to the table for a business. So it's basically we can divide the value offer on in let's say there are four categories to it. One, it helps you improve your supply chain replenishment and procurement process. And this is very important when it comes to managing your inventory on an optimum level. As I said, you have to make sure that you're buying the right items. You have to make sure that you're buying them in the right quantity, and you have to make sure that you are basically moving those items in the right stores. Now, having said that, this whole procurement side of the business contributes significantly when it comes to the overall profitability. So what our solution does is that it helps you streamline your procurement process, starting from the planning, then going through the procurement, purchase order management, and then allocating the stock from warehouse to the stores. Or it can be a scenario where maybe stores are buying something directly from the vendor. So one thing that our solution does specifically is that it streamlines your procurement and planning process. The second value is around the processes which are very specific to this industry, and it's very difficult to kind of digitalize these processes, bring in controls, and then bring in the automations. So as I talked about the rebate agreements that generally happen with the vendors, I talked about the third party agreements. So our solution basically allows you to define these agreements in the system, and then it actually brings a lot of automation when it comes to connect posting the financial part of these agreements. You can actually define these agreements. You can take them through the workflow approvals, then actual transactions can happen, and system can actually help you in calculating your rebates and then making the entries as well in terms of the finance. So that's the second thing. uh, Again, some elements coming from as I mentioned, that one of the major challenges is managing the assortment. So what we have done in this solution is that we have introduced the concept of basically store clustering. So you can actually categorize your store in a specific cluster based on based on different variables such as what kind of a locality that store is in, what kind of a customer footfall you are getting, what's the ethnic spread in that particular community. So based on these features, we enable the businesses to do the assortment plannings, and eventually it helps you in getting the right products in the right place and at the right price as well, and eventually boosts your revenue side of the business and as well as the customer experience. Another thing that I would like to highlight here is that in the past few years, one of the major differentiators in the retail industry has been the customer service. So generally, people would just walk into any store, fill up their trolley, and maybe walk away. Now people care about things such as customer service. People want more of a customer centric experience. They need mobile applications. They want a seamless experience on the point of sale checkout. They want maybe self checkout experience. So again, customer experience is something that basically directly impacts your revenue side of the business. So if you're able to deliver good customer experience, that will directly enhance your sales. And if you're not able to do that, eventually it will have a significantly negative impact on the sales side of your business. So all this assortment planning and stuff like that, it really helps you in making sure that you have the right kind of items in the right place and at the right time. So some of the things that again we developed over the period of time were around the warehousing operation. Now, any supermarket generally has a very complex warehouse. It's a very busy place. There are multiple docks where trucks are coming in. You're loading and unloading stock. There is stock coming in. There's stock going out. There are requirements coming from your stores. So it's a very busy place, and you have to make sure that the resources that you have in your warehouse, whether in terms of space or in terms of labor, they are utilized optimally. So we again we have done a lot of work where the customers can use the handheld devices for receiving the stock, allocating the stock to the right place in the warehouse, and then shipping out the stock to the stores as well. So that's another area where we have done a lot of work. It's a solution that can really help you in streamlining your processes and bringing in automations. Uh, another area is around the vendor portal. Now, as I said, these supermarket businesses are very purchase intensive businesses, and it's very important that you automate the maximum processes in that. So what we have done here is that we have one vendor portal where vendors can just come in. They can register themselves. They can help them in terms of creating their own purchase orders, checking the status of invoices, maybe creating the invoice and responding to some RFQs. But again, this is a very controlled environment. We have made sure that vendors can do only the things that we allow them to do. So it's a controlled workspace where vendors can kind of self-serve, and eventually it gives you the benefit of having your purchasing team focus on more strategic things. So a lot of manual work is basically bypassed, and you can focus more on the automation side of the business. If you can move to the next slide, Zara. We talked about some of the in-store operations. Assortment planning is one areas. There are again some major problems that are specific to this industry. For example, you have a large amount of shelves, and if as a customer I walk into a superstore, I want to buy something, and I'm not able to know the price of that particular item. Now I cannot just go to some kind of a cashier and check the price and then finally decide whether I have to buy it or not. So it's very important that you have the right kind of price labels pasted on the shelves so that customers don't have to jump around the store just to know the pricing of the item. So we have developed a functionality that enables the users, the customers to actually do the shelf printing and labeling process, a shelf label printing and the labeling process. Again, a lot of work has been done around the reporting on an item and category level. So in this industry, people are more focused or more centric on the categories, and then they can actually from category they can go down to the item level. But most of the reporting generally starts from a store and category level. So people ask questions like which category is performing good in a particular store, and which category is maybe not performing well in a particular store. And then from the category level, you can actually go down to the item level. So we have a solution where you can actually categorize your items. You can have a category hierarchy up till nth level, basically unlimited levels. And then based on these categories, you can do your reporting, you can run your campaigns based on categories, you can run your discounts, stuff like that. So that really helps the businesses to manage the high speed of their business, and they don't have to go and do everything on an item level. Most of the things can be done on a category level, and they will apply to all the items basically covered on that category. Again, I talked about managing the cash on a point of sale level. We have done a lot of work where we have allowed our customers to control what the cashiers can and cannot do when it comes to the point of sale or the till operations or the drawer operations, to be more specific. So again, that generally brings a lot of control into this process and help businesses kind of reduce the pilferage and stuff like that. Zara, if you can move to the next slide. Yeah. So again, one of the challenges which has basically surfaced in the recent past, it's I mean, it's been quite for a while now. It's basically the rise of e-commerce. So for businesses, it is very important to have proper e-com channels, and that's a major source of sale for most businesses as of now, as Forum also mentioned. But when you say having an e-com place, it's very important that your e-com place or your e-com channel is properly connected to your ERP, because ERP is where you are carrying your inventories, where you are managing your items, where you are doing your prices, where you're running your promotions and loyalties and everything. So it's super important that these multiple channels work as a one, so that the customer can actually have a truly omni-channel experience. So what we have done in the last few years is that we have done a lot of work on integrating the e-com and the ERP, and even within the in-store operations, set aside the e-commerce, we have built a solution for a customer self-checkout, and for certain categories we do have a solution for intelligent assisted selling. So customer can actually get recommendations based on multiple variables such as the past buying history, the customer age, the customer preferences, his ethnicity. So customer can actually get targeted recommendations so that it's kind of an opportunity for upselling. So we have done a lot of work in this area where we have integrated the e-commerce channels with the ERP, as well as some store modernization in the in-store operations. Coming to the financial side of the business, this is where basically everything comes and gets consolidated. So having a proper financial system which is tightly and seamlessly integrated with your supply chain is very important. And this is where I believe Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation brings in a lot of value, since it basically works as a unified solution where your supply chain, your sales side of the business, your finance, your HR, everything is basically working under a single umbrella. So it's very seamlessly connected. So you don't have to kind of go back and reconcile the sales from your point of sale and then come back and see how it's doing in the finance. Similarly, when it comes to your budgeting and the supply chain, that's again, it's a very seamlessly connected solution where finance is connected to the supply chain and the supply chain is connected to the point of sale and this whole solution is connected to the e-commerce. So in terms of financial, it's all very well connected. A lot of automations have been done, so the finance people don't have to spend a lot of time on just creating the JVs, reconciling the numbers, doing the bank reconciliations. This all these processes have been automated, which actually makes the finance department much more efficient and allows them to work on the strategic side of the business rather than just doing the data entry kind of tasks and stuff like that. And another feature that I would like to highlight here is basically around integration with Microsoft Office Suite. So again, for any finance department, Microsoft Excel is basically perhaps the most important application. So this finance and operation solution is very seamlessly integrated with Excel. So you can actually just to give an example, any JV in the finance journal voucher, you can open it in Excel. You can do your control C's and control V's and all the productivity stuff from the Excel. You can do it in Excel and then just publish it back to Dynamics 365. Again, as a finance guy, it really helps them in speeding up their data entry processes and stuff. Uh, Moving on, just some of the screens I would like to show you. So this is basically a screen for defining the business development agreement. So I'm basically referring to the rebate agreements. So it can be done on an item level, it can be done on a category level, and I mean these BDAs can get very complex. They can have some very complex calculations running behind them. So we have the option of defining the rebate based on a certain percentage, maybe fixed amount, maybe it's per SKU, or maybe it's on demand. So it's a very robust form, very flexible form that allows you to define from a simple to a complex agreement with your vendor. And then once you define this agreement in the system will automatically take care of doing the calculations and then posting to the finance. Next, there is one screenshot which basically pertains to the management of third-party stock. I referred to this in previous slides, where there are certain agreements where third-party vendors are basically selling stock on supermarkets. So again, you can define an arrangement with the third-party vendor within the system, and then based on this defined agreement, system takes care of the processing, calculations, and the posting side of the business. So you can define from simple to a complex third-party agreement here. Then moving on, we have developed a PDT module, again, native to Microsoft Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations to bring in all the bells and whistles of FinOps. It basically allows you to streamline the processes around your warehousing, stock receiving, stock allocations, stock outs, sending the stock out to your retail stores, and then maybe receiving the stock on the retail store as well. So that's again, this is a module that we have developed, utilizes the core engine of Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations, and helps customers streamline their warehousing operations. And then I mentioned about the vendor portal. Again, this is a portal that is fully integrated with finance and operation. Vendors can just log into it, do a lot of stuff like view their current inventory, create new LPOs, maybe invoice the existing LPOs, and there is some very rich analytics embedded into this as well. So yeah, that's the vendor portal that is there. Um, that's pretty much it from my side. I will hand it over to my colleague Raza, just to take you through some of the success stories that we have been able to achieve through this solution. So over to you, Raza.
Thank you, Bilal. Hello, everyone, again. Today, we'll be sharing some of our success stories with you. We're proud to showcase how we've been able to help our clients optimize their operations and streamline their supply chains and enhance their customer experiences. Our first success story, let's start with Banias Corp. They run about 5 supermarkets and retail stores in the UAE, and we've helped them manage retail supply chain and finance operations using Microsoft Dynamics AX 2012 R3. They are in the process of upgrading to the latest version, which is finance and operations. So, by leveraging our process operation expertise, we were able to optimize their operations, resulting in a more efficient business process. Our second success story, and one of the most inspiring, next we have is Abu Dhabi Cooperative Society, which operates several retail brands across the UAE, including Co-op, Spar, and Megamarts. In phase one of our partnership, we streamlined their retail and supply chain processes using Dynamics 365 FNO, resulting in increased productivity and profitability. In phase two, we provided them with meaningful customer insights and data on consumer buying behavior, which helped them make informed decisions and provide a more seamless and personalized customer experience. Third success story, Al Fatah is the largest chain of departmental stores in Pakistan. We provided them with a solution to automate their back end margin calculations and streamline their replenishment processes. This helped them optimize their inventory levels, resulting in a more efficient supply chain. Our fourth success story, I'm pretty sure that most of you been to one of their stores. Lastly, we have is Viva, the first food discounter in the UAE. They wanted to streamline their multiple data sources and have access to real-time detailed analytics. So by implementing Confiz C Analytics solution and integrating with Dynamics 365, we were able to provide them with the data they needed to make informed decisions and optimize their operations. So I think we're coming closer to our webinar. We have a few things to discuss before we wrap it up. We have a Q&A section. Anybody who would like to post a question, please do so. We are happy to answer them. Again, we would like to thank all of you to joining us today and learning more about our success stories. We hope that we've been able to demonstrate how our solutions can help businesses optimize their operations and provide a better experience for their customers.